Good afternoon and good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and coffee stream number 181. And I hope everyone is having a good day and had a good evening yesterday. It it got really stormy really quick yesterday. It was friggin' disgusting when I went to pick up Alex. I got soaked. We both got soaked. And then it got really cold overnight for this time of year. And so I hope everyone's having a much better weather day than we were. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. We are still going to read some news. I do have some. Pink Hollow sent me some, and we've got lots in the Discord. But people over the weekend, I was on a different live stream with Sir Adamantine and his friends, and they asked me if I'd ever done a stream about, my blindness and the tech that I use and stuff like that. And I have. But it was way back in the baby days of this channel when I had I think something like 20 or 30 subs, and I was sitting in this same room, but there was no furniture in it. It echoed really badly. I had my laptop microphone. It was awful. So I thought to myself, why not do a bit of an updated stream, like maybe not the whole 2 hours, but do an updated um talking about a bit about, the stuff that I use, the technology that I use now, the technology that I grew up using, and how different it was. Maybe for some new people, how I went blind. Um, and if you guys have any questions, you guys can ask while I'm talking about this stuff, and then we'll cover some news, like maybe in the next, like in the second half of the stream. So I figured maybe that would be something interesting for us to do today. But before we do that, let's say hello to everyone who is in chat, as we always do every day. So let's say hi to Martin. Hello. Skep. Hello. Maddie's here. Yay, Braille, says Skep Top. Let's see. Let's see here. Captain Weeb is here. Good morning to you. Check your logic. An updated blindness stream. Yes. What is this cold you speak of, says Skeptalk. It was freezing. It was 12 degrees Celsius last night, which is double plus 32. So something, I think it was like in the low 50s last night for us. It was pretty chilly, and it was very, very windy. I would say the wind was probably about, I'm trying to do this in miles and I can't do it. At least 30 kilometers an hour, which is probably, I have no idea what that would be in miles, but there were very strong winds. So it was very chilly. Let's see. Oh, Martin says, "Hi BP, I wanted to ask a question. My company, let's see. At my company, I work on a product used by many different people, including those with disabilities. My product isn't accessible for disabled people. But I strongly want my product to be used by disabled people, but my boss doesn't care. Should I continue to push for it to be accessible? You know what, dude? It can't hurt, right? 54 degrees Fahrenheit. Thank you, Skeptalk. Um, it can't hurt, right? Like, I'm sure that um hello MZ. Let's see here. So Martin, maybe if you talk to other people that the boss um speaks to on a regular basis who might be a bit more susceptible to the idea, like maybe plant the seed in their head instead of going directly to somebody who clearly doesn't give a shit. Like maybe it might help to talk to people that he regularly interacts with on a on a good and jovial basis. Like don't just be like, hey, this product that we work on, a lot of different people use it, including people with disabilities, and we it would be great if they didn't need able-bodied assistance to use it. We should try and um, figure out ways to make it accessible so that they can use it independently. And then that would increase our productivity and the product would get a better name if we were more accessible because more people would want to use it. You got to approach it. You got to his point is the able people outnumber the disabled. That's true, but if you make it if you point out to him, if you make it accessible for the disabled as well as the abled will be like there because you'd be surprised at how many able-bodied people are caregivers of disabled people. And when they see companies try, like when able-bodied people who are in that role see companies attempt to make disabled people more independent and more included, they actually want to patronize that company more for themselves because they're like, hey, they get it. And this is makes it easier for me as the able-bodied person as well as the disabled person. So I now want to use the product myself because um I like that you are trying to be inclusive and accessible. So not only am I going to tell my disabled family members to use it, I'm going to use it and I'm going to spread the word among whatever communities I belong to that, hey, this company's really great. It's word of mouth. It sounds idealistic, but it 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 does actually work. Shaming. Oh, thanks, man. I get in. It makes a difference, says Skeptalk. I can testify to this personally. Um, Skeptalk says, also, just because it's a good thing to do, you want to support a company that shows some heart like that. Yeah. Um, it makes the company look good as well. It's good for them image wise, especially in today's climate. Um, there's a whole bunch of benefits. Now I get really upset with a lot of disability activists because their first instinct is to jump right to the shaming tactics. Now I think that you that if you work really hard on being nice and trying to educate somebody and and you're really patient with them and you attempt several times to import what you're saying to somebody and they just refuse to accept what you're saying, and it affects, you know, your accessibility rights. Hello, Seamus. Um, then you can start getting a little bit more impatient. Um, oh, Martin says, my problem is that I'm in a corporation, but I care about the little people. Ah, yes. Ah, yes. Well, corporations need people like you. If corporations were stocked entirely with heartless people, then there would be no growth in anything. And corporations wouldn't expand or have new ideas. So, all right. So, I feel like disability activists, says Check Your Logic, are the most vulnerable to soft bigotry of low expectations. They are, but the problem is that a lot of disability activists tend, and I'm trying to figure out how to word this properly. They tend to take advantage of that and they start behaving very badly, in my opinion. Um, if you go, if you just start looking up, you know, disability hashtags, some of them are incredibly nasty. Some of the tweets are incredibly nasty, incredibly entitled. And these people call themselves activists and they advocate for, they say that they advocate for disability rights, but they make disabled people look incredibly, incredibly bad. Let's see. Martin H says, also, I had one question about blindness. Does blindness happen? Does blindness just happen? Or can lifestyle choices have an inspective on site, or is it hereditary? I'm concerned I may have I may go blind in my old age and may not have training with screen reader software. Honestly, um, blindness can happen in any many amount of ways. Like for example, my blindness is not hereditary. My blindness was due to a viral infection. Actually, I was exposed to the measles when I was too young to be vaccinated, um, by somebody who did not vaccinate their child, and their child had been exposed to the measles, and was brought over to visit me during the incubation period. Um, and so that measles infection ended up triggering a secondary viral infection called cytomegalovirus. I'm actually going to type that out in chat so you guys can see how that's spelled. Cytomegalovirus. And you can, if you're curious, look that up. It's a virus that is actually dormant in most humans. The most common way of being transmitted is sexually transmitted. There's a lot of that those are a lot of those cases in the third world of cytomegalovirus being sexually transmitted. However, it can also be triggered by infections like the one I had. So I was 6 months old, and I spent a month a month in a sick kids hospital at 6 months old, where they tried to save my eyes. I actually went to the hospital blind, and they were trying to get my sight back. And they ended up removing my right eye entirely and the retina from my left eye. So that's why, Martin, you said that you watched getting my new eyes. That's why the left eye only is like a cap, because I still have the eye. I just don't have a retina there. Now, what they did was they left the optic nerves intact in case someday neurosurgery progressed. Good Lord, blind press, speak properly. In case neurosurgery progressed to the point where they could reattach an eye to the optic nerve. And basically, my only hope for new eyes would be for stem cell research to advance to the point of being actual medical treatment, where they could take some stem cells from me, grow me a pair of eyes and retinas, and reattach them. But then it would take a very long time to be rehabilitated. There would be no way that I could just be exposed to visual stimuli right away. I would probably have to be in darkness for, a good few months, and just be exposed to small amounts of light. Um, let's see. Hello, Green Thunder. My optometrist told me to wear glasses, but I never got them. Sexually transmitted disease? Yeah, it's if you look up cytomegalovirus. It is stupid, but I was afraid people would make fun of me more than they currently do. Yeah, you know what? It's a fear. Um, in my younger days, um, I used to get really, really pissed off. At, let's see. I used to get really pissed off at people who didn't wear glasses when they were supposed to. Um, but they had glasses. Like they physically, their parents had gotten them glasses, and they didn't wear them, and they were like, I'll look stupid. And like in my younger days, I as a teenager, when I didn't know how to keep my mouth shut, I would be like, well, it would be nice if I could have the luxury of worrying about how I looked with glasses on. That would be awesome. Um, but I do now I can understand that, you know, that happens, that people get afraid of wearing glasses. Martin H says, I have a colleague at work who went blind. He had four car accidents, he had four car accidents and walked into a bridge and busted his head open. When he went to the hospital, he was diagnosed as blind. Wow. Martin says his driver's license was revoked and then he became depressed. Yeah, people who lose their life or their sight later in life get You mean people thought that about themselves in real life? I thought that was just TV bullshit. No, I went to school with some very, very annoying girls. It was mostly girls that said that. Um, when people lose their sight later on in life, it's very common for them to get depressed, Martin, because obviously they've lost something that they've never thought they'd lose. Um, it's scary and it's very isolating for them. Um, because you really do have to learn how to do a lot of things over again. Because you have to learn new techniques on how to do everything in order to do it safely. People like me who were born blind or went blind very, very young to the point where they can't remember seeing, I would say are much luckier because we've grown up with knowing nothing else. Someone who loses their sight completely as an adult has it a lot harder. Um, it's That's why it's so important for people like people like that to get good amounts of counseling with institutions that deal with vision loss. They're the most developed countries have those, thankfully. The problem with a lot of undeveloped countries is that blindness is still thought of as a curse. Um, Blind kids don't usually get to go to school unless um, there. I know that there's some blind schools in India that people are attending, but it's generally like I knew somebody who came from Vietnam when she was 12, I believe. She had not been to school because they figured, well, she's blind, there's no point in educating her. And then she came to Canada and they're like, no, she has to go to school. It's the law. Um, so she basically had to do intensive, um, not just ESL, but catch up because she was 12 years old. So she needed to be in grade 7. Um, but they just, they needed to catch her up to be with her peers. So she did a lot of intensive training, a lot of intensive education, um, and she was freaking brilliant. She graduated high school uh, at 18, just like everybody else. Learned Braille and everything. Um, she was awesome. She was really shy though, so I never really got to make friends with her because she was very, very much an introvert. So blind people can read Braille. Yes, that's true, Martin. A lot of blind people who go blind as adults, though, do end up having a bit more trouble learning Braille because their fingers um, haven't been trained basically as much. They don't have the same sensitivity. Um, but it yeah, Braille is an awesome thing, and it's fairly new actually. It was only invented in the 1800s. And I learned Braille when I went to kindergarten. Sorry, I needed a coffee drink. I started learning Braille in kindergarten, and it took me until grade 3 to learn everything because you learn what's called grade 1 Braille first, and that's letter for letter Braille. You spell everything out, and then grade 2 Braille is what's called, it's basically shorthand. And the reason grade 2 Braille is used more is because Braille takes up a lot of room. So you're going to want to write things down in as succinct and efficient way as possible. So that's why grade 2 Braille was invented, because grade 1 Braille, holy crap, takes up about twice as much room as grade 2 Braille. And as I was telling Sir Adamantine and his friends on his stream on Friday, Harry Potter, all of my Harry Potter books, I have all 7. They are in grade 2 Braille. All of them combined equal, I would say, about 50 volumes. Because each book, I think, the first one is 4 volumes, the second one is 5, the third one is 6, Goblet of Fire is 10, Order of the Phoenix is 13, The Half-Blood Prince is 10, and The Deathly Hallows is 13 books. So that's 4, 5, that's 9, 6 is 15, 10 is 25. You get my drift. The Lord of the Rings is 5 2-inch books. Just the Fellowship of the Ring is 5 2-inch books. And that's in contracted Braille. Yeah. Pink Hollows just said, think six, it's 5. Think 5 thick phone books, the old phone books, the big 2-inch phone books. Yeah. It's huge. Yeah, it's ginormous. If you were to look at my bookshelves, you would think that I owned about 100, maybe 200 books. In total, I own maybe 20 or 30. And that's probably a generous, because Braille is so expensive and it takes up so much room. That's why a lot of blind people tend towards audiobooks or Braille displays, buying a Braille display, which Braille displays, which are amazing, are very expensive. And what a Braille display is it is a piece of technology that you can plug in via USB or nowadays connect via Bluetooth. And whatever comes up on the screen will appear in what's called refreshable Braille. So the dots raise up and go down depending on what the words are. I wish I could show. They're 3 inches. I thought that was 2 inches. Yeah, Harry Potter books are 1.5 to 2 inches thick, and they're 13 by 13 inch. Yeah. It's crazy. It's so, but think about this. As crazy as that is now, with Braille displays, with, I used to I used to use what's called a brailer. A brailer, now what I wish that I could share my screen here, because I could I could show you guys what a brailer is. It's a typewriter-like machine where you roll in a piece of Braille paper, which is about 3 inches wider than an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And you crank this sheet of paper in, and you have the 6 keys in a row in front of you, because Braille is made up of 6 dots. You have, and I'm going to show you on my phone, because I can type in Braille on my phone, and I'll show you on my phone how I type in Braille in a minute. I'll turn my camera on and I'll show you. But when you have a braille typewriter, as the other thing they're called, you've got the keys. You have dots 1, 2, 3 on the left, then you have a space bar in the middle, and dots 4, 5, 6 on the right. And when you type, the dots are in vertical columns. So you have one 3-dot line on one side, one 3-dot line on the right side, in 2 vertical lines together. And a combination of these dots make up each letter of the alphabet. So you have to press these keys in different combinations and punch holes in the paper, which is also why I have carpal tunnel in my wrists, because you've got to put a lot of pressure on these keys. I'm so glad kids today don't have to type with those. You've also, but you think that's bad. A braille stylus and ruler is probably the worst thing that I've ever seen for writing, because with a braille stylus and ruler, you stick your paper in this like slate ruler. It opens, you stick your paper in, you shut it, and then you take this this tool that you actually have to hold in your hand, and you need to the slate has the braille columns etched out in little cells like I just described to you, the lines on either side, and you take this little tool and you physically poke the paper, poke the dots out. But the secret of this is you need to do it upside down and backwards, so that when you take the piece of paper out of the ruler and turn it around, you can read it properly. That's how people wrote Braille before the Braille typewriter was invented. Thank God I didn't have to do that. My dad worked IBM Braille keyboards. My dad hated it because he can't read it. Yeah, I could understand that. Standard sizes for Braille paper that I've seen online are 11 by 11.5 and A4. Yep. Lots of very complicated devices. Yes. The stylus for the slate looks like a punch you use in woodworking. Upside down and backwards. Yep. That's exactly right, Skep. Let that sink in, says Skeptalk. Yep. That's how, when Louis Braille invented Braille, that's how he was doing it. So think about this. He invented the language and then said, okay, when you write it, do it backwards. so that when you read it, you can read it properly from left to right, like sighted people read their print. So think about that. And then he had to teach people how to do that. And then teach other people how to teach people how to do that. All before he died of tuberculosis. So, yeah, it's complicated, and one of the reasons why I've decided to do this stream the way I'm doing it today is because I'm going to be honest with you, I was having a hard time this morning, and I got a little bit upset because I hate having to rely on people for help. And I hate I hate the fact that I can't edit stuff myself. And it's because visually I don't know how to make my avatar do the cool things that Pinkalo does. Like a lot of the things that blind people do when they edit their own videos is they make slideshow videos, or they just have their camera on them and that's it. I'm lucky because I've got a Pinkalo who can, do really awesome shit with my avatar. And I got really discouraged with the inaccessibility of Streamlabs' merch store the other day. It was very annoying because all I wanted to do was make a simple coffee mug. And I couldn't do that as I described that day. And I just figured that instead of pretending that, everything was fine and whatever, that I would show you guys and let you guys know what's behind the scenes and stuff. Because part of the reason why I'm doing this doing this channel is to educate people about blindness without being an annoying shove it down your throat activist type person. And so it's not all that impressive, says Pinkalo. It's just moving the slide around in different positions. The hard part is just getting the creativity together to do the visual. I know, but it's still an important part, and but the other thing is that I wanted you guys to know the behind the scenes part of it, right? When I get my news stories and I, and thank friggin' God for Pinkalo and Gunfox, because finding it's hard to find. For some reason, I don't know how to find good news stories that aren't on websites that don't work with my freaking screen reader, because that's another issue that I'm sure you guys have noticed, is website accessibility. It's coming a long way. It really is. Believe me, websites used to be awful for blind people. But I slightly understand the problems. I was deaf till I was 5 years old, says Bjorn of Gulf City. The key aspect of it. Oh, honey, stop. No, 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 no. That's not what I wanted you. No, no, no. That's not what I was. No, that's not what I meant. That is not what I meant. Blind friendly news articles. Yeah, it's websites used to be awful. But a lot of web developer were bleh, Jesus Christ. See, now I'm having an anxiety problem. um I've just lost my complete train of thought. A lot of web developers have come a long way in wanting to be inclusive. So that is a great start. But the problem is with newspapers is wow. Sorry, guys. Wow, I have never melted down on stream before. That is a problem. Anyway, web developers have worked really hard on making leaps and bounds in their accessibility. But a lot of the newspaper sites that I get and that I look for have videos and advertisements that my screen reader does not like. So that is why I yell at Safari a lot. You hear me go, God damn it, stop saying busy. That's what, when my screen reader says busy, it's trying to catch up with Flash and JavaScripting mostly. With, oh, thanks, Martin. I'll code something that the screen reader can use without, wait, what does he say? I'll code something that the screen reader has and without all the junk, and then I'll post it in your Discord. Thanks, man. That's cool. Aw. Thanks, Duck Dog. Hugs for BP, he says. Okay, something just buzzed at me. What is buzzing at me? My phone is buzzing at me. Oh, hello. Let's see. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Ah. Hello? Okay. Pinkala wants to be on speakerphone, apparently. Hold on.
It's gonna sound like shit, but I don't care. They don't have the link handy.
Well, do you want the link?
No, not yet. It's okay, I'm in Toronto. Just relax, okay? Don't worry about this shit. I'm gonna take care of it, and everything will be okay. Just breathe, okay? You're doing fine. Don't get frazzled, and don't worry about being so upset. We'll get through it like I've been telling you, okay?
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. You need to calm down.
Yes.
Everybody listening to this knows you need to calm down. You're just a little upset, but it will be okay.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
So just relax. I'm trying my best, and I knew you were going to read that message wrong. What I meant is, let me judge myself in my own actions.
Ah.
Okay? The editing is my fault, because I've just been stuck on this creative hump. And I'm apologizing to everybody that's listening so they know that it's not on you, it's primarily on me. Because of the fact that I'm just not there. I've just been in a creative slump for 6 months. Look at the last Karen video I made. It looks like shit. Okay, people. So I will get this shit figured out as soon as I think about it. I got knocked out with that whole Venus thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm just still I can't get this shit sorted out. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to figure it out, and hopefully I'll have your first video out by Monday at the latest. That's my plan. Screen empty. Have fun. Go to your show. Love you.
Love you. Hooray for Pink Hollow.
Double tap to open.
Let's see here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get, let's see, what is chat saying here? Sorry about that, guys. Pink Hollow just wanted to make sure everything was fine. I'm just gonna throw the link to somebody here. Just so I can have a little bit of a bounce off of. So that I can get myself under freaking control. I'm having an irate bear moment. That's funny. Okay, let's see here. Where is Safari? There is Safari. Thank you, Safari. Let's see here. So, if you guys have like any questions that would help me get back on track, also, that would be awesome. Now that I've made a fool of myself. It's been raining there all day. Well, that sucks. It rained like crazy yesterday here. Okay, let's see. What else is chat saying here? I will feet better. Read the titular article. Okay. I found the titular article. I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, god damn it. Weird. Okay, I will try and send the right link. Let's see. And then I will read the titular article because I saw exactly what that is, and it's hilarious. Resume hangout on air. Fuck sakes. Fuck my life. I hate myself. I know. I just turned it off. I look like crap right now. It's fine. No, they didn't get me. I got myself. Yeah, no, you guys know what I look like. And I look like shit. Today is just not my day, guys. um, yeah, I will read the titular article in a second because it's really funny. I actually had a laugh. Um, you guys will too. It's really great. Let's see here. Let's see. All right. So I will get the titular article and I will send the right link out to my friend here. And we will get this stream back on the right freaking track. So, let's see, what else can I tell you about while I'm doing this? The other thing, or the other, I think, reason that having some issues here is I've had some bad days with my meds, so that's probably another thing. Which another problem is that a lot of blind people actually suffer from this problem because of the circadian rhythm. Um, let's see, please be right. Um, so, um, we have a lot of issues with circadian rhythm and insomnia, which makes it which makes it hard to get proper amounts of sleep, proper amounts of serotonin balance, proper amounts of vitamin D. It's pretty hard to deal with. Oh no, Skeptalk. Skeptalk left the video call. Why did Skeptalk leave the video call? Oh, there is a Streamlabs donation. Let's see here. New tab. Moonshock, you say you're in a lot of pain. That's no good. Did you just have your do you have your next chemo tomorrow or was that last week? Let's see here. I'm gonna do the Streamlabs donation, and then I will go get the fun article because you guys will find this great. Hello, Skeptalk, are you here? No, he's not. Huh. Weird. I hope that I don't know why that link is not working. Let's see. Mr. Duck Dog says for the 8 Canadian dollars, thank you. Says Bwahahaha. Thanks, dude. You make me smile. So before we do, actually no, I'm gonna do the titular article, and then at the end of the stream, I'm gonna show you guys how I type in Braille on my phone, because I think that'll be really cool. You're muted? How are you muted? No, god damn it. Fuck you, Google Hangouts. Just do what I want you to do. How did Skeptalk get muted? Okay, open menu for Skeptalk. Welcome to the coffee stream where Blind Press cannot make her own things work. It says that you're not, it says, it doesn't say you're muted, Skep. Let's see. Mute. All right, I muted you. Let me unmute you now. If I mute and unmute you, that might work. Because that doesn't make any sense. Okay. There we go. Yeah, it's weird. It says that you're unmuted. Oh, now I hear you. I think. No. What the hell is going on with this? All right, guys. While we figured this out, I'm going to go get the article because it's funny. And we need to laugh. Where is it? Here it is. Pancalo sent this to Monkey as well, so you might hear this again on Lords of the Night or Monkey in the Morning if you haven't already. But it's funny. Let's see. But this is going to be funny, so we'll see this. Jerusalem waitresses flash their bras at ultra-Orthodox Jews protesting the desecration of the Sabbath. Yeah, you heard that right. You heard that right. I don't know why, but let's find out. So, there's a subheading. It says the
You
stand.
hear me now?
Oh, there you are.
Heck of a deal.
Phew! I was worried it was something on my end.
Well, I think you did do something critical, and then what happened was, probably the transaction situation between me and you was so messed up that I had to exit and come back in. So that
Yeah. I'm sorry about that.
no, I'm anyway, it's all good now. It's all good now. It's noon here in Texas, and here on the relaxation stream, take a moment here and just relax and kind of kick back for a minute and gain just a little bit of perspective. I was thinking about this as I was hearing you kind of go through the stuff and thinking about she is so hard on herself, and that's what drives you. That's why you've succeeded the way you've succeeded. Here's a challenge for anybody who wants to put a blindfold on and keep it on permanently. Okay, start a YouTube channel, get 500 subscribers on it, make friends, be popular, and keep a good attitude, and raise a couple of kids while you're doing that. Have a family and a healthy, good life on top of that, and see if you don't get stressed out every once in a while. I mean, everybody knows that my respect for you is boundless, and it's times like that I just kind of go, God, you were just amazing. So hats off to you. This kind of shit is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just not a big deal. I mean, and everybody your regulars who show up, they're all crazy about you. They understand this stuff. They're here for the long haul. They're interested in the content that you have, and they'll sit there patient as stones, while you work through all the stuff that you have to work through. I was so frustrated about this fucking microphone. I was thinking, it's a goddamn snowball, it's my new microphone, but it wasn't that. It had nothing to do with that. It was.
Pinkala says, "Don't feel special. I got muted 5 times on Sunday night."
Pink Cow knows the pain, and he's a quiet hero in all this too. He has done so much, and it kind of to make a lot of this happen. You guys are just a fantastic team. I'm just really lucky to know you both. That's the truth. So I'm just happy to be here. And I was thinking about, just to kind of go meta here and talk a little bit of inside baseball about streaming and news stories and stuff like that. If you don't mind, just a break for a second. We were doing the news the other night. You were still on. It was before you left the other night on the stream. And I hit that paywall on that Tribune story.
Oh, yeah.
We're glad you enjoy reading the Tribune. Fuck you. You get a third of the way down through the story. You're just getting to the decent part. We're glad you're reading the Tribune. God damn it, I'm on a stream. I've got 30 people listening to me. And I'm trying to put your information in their ears. You should be happy. I'm like a push ad for you. And you're charging me to advertise for you? Really? Seriously? Just made me crazy.
It's fucking frustrating.
but that's not the worst. The worst are the freaking pop-up ads, the ones that come up and just strangle you. And I'm sighted. I can see these things and kind of, get to I can find the little microscopic X in the top right-hand corner, or sometimes in the bottom right-hand corner, because they change it up so they can screw with you.
Yep.
And to make the thing disappear. And they have like 6 of them that you have to clear out before you can get to. You don't get the article, then you get the main ad.
Yep.
Okay, and you have to sit through that for like 15 seconds, and then when that's done, then you can get to like 20 seconds of article reading and you get the information out. That's the garbage that you have to go through to advertise their frickin' paper.
Yep.
It's
And most of
just
those
more than
X's I can't even find.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Sighted people have difficulty with them, and they do that on purpose. They make them that way on purpose. Because what they're hoping. Here's the thing, what they want are interactions, because all the money that they make are scored by interactions. So if you accidentally click inside the body of that ad, that's money in their pocket.
Yep.
That is literally more money in their pocket than if you click the X. And by the way, if you click the X, that's a different kind of interaction. They still get money in your pocket because it means you noticed them. So they get like a tenth of the amount of money that they get if you actually click and open the ad. Click and open the ad is the biggest amount of money that they get.
Yeah.
And then time on the ad and stuff like that. And they're starting to compute stuff like cursor hover time. I mean, it's getting ridiculous, the stuff that they can trap. It's almost spooky that they can literally get down and trap the individual motions of your cursor on screen, the locations of your cursor on screen, to know what your habits are, to see how much that ad has changed your normal screen habits. So they develop a profile for the way you normally look at screens. And so they can see what effect certain ads have on that. Then they score the ad on how much it influences your screen. But screen habits, how much it changes your screen habits.
Yep.
It's a brave new world out there, and people don't even realize, they just plunge on and look at stuff and are amused by stuff and use the internet. They don't realize that all this analytical stuff about what they do and who they are is happening in back of them. But
and there's these things that are there's a service for blind people now called AIRA, AIRA.
What do they do?
So they are you pay certain amounts of money per month to get a certain amount of minutes, and what it is they use your phone camera, and they help you with visual tasks.
Oh, okay.
Anything from like sorting. Like people have used it for, like, they've gotten things from baby shower gifts and they're sorting the different sizes of clothes. Or
so it's a sighted person saying, okay, I can see what's going on and I'll tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
And people have used it for navigation in a new place. People have used it for now the thing that gets me is that people are using it for stuff like helping them reinstate their health insurance, their health coverage.
How does that work?
Because the online forms are inaccessible. So
sure.
But there's a lot of private information that goes into that.
Oh, but I'm sure they keep that.
Well, the thing is that AIRA agents are actually paid, and they get background checked to all ends of the earth.
Okay.
And every call is recorded. So if any identity information was stolen, there would be a way to
prosecute the guy.
Prosecute whoever did it. The only problem is that AIRA is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
When I say ridiculously expensive, I mean the cheapest plan is like $30 and you get 30 minutes.
Oh, wow. $1 a minute?
The most expensive plan is $200 a month, and you get 300 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
Now, there are a lot of blind people that share Era plans because they've allowed that to happen.
See, but that's the kind of thing I could see. That's the sort of thing, to some extent, I could see the government wanting to be in the business of subsidizing. And I'm a libertarian. I'm not technically big on government subsidizing anything, but where it comes to like a disability like blindness, boy, I tend to open up the pocketbook a little bit. That sounds like a really good thing. I mean, if you can provide that kind of assistance, plus the other side of it is it provides an interesting kind of a job.
Yeah.
A job that really is, they're jobs that eat and destroy your soul, like selling used cars kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is the opposite of that. This is the type of job I think that would nurture your soul, or could, and would be more likely to. So, yeah, that's interesting. I had no idea that was out there. It's interesting. Most people have no idea that there's an entire infrastructure out there to support blind people. I mean, they've heard the word Braille.
Yep.
They know it's marks that I don't understand. The funny dots on the elevator. That's what they think Braille is.
Yeah.
And that's the only place that they see it, near the fire extinguisher and on the elevator, and
sometimes on the bathroom.
Right, bathroom and in hospitals. You see it in various places in the hospitals, and that's pretty much all you see it. And they think, well, that's how there's some kind of magic that blind people that enables blind people to do stuff. Yeah. And they don't realize that there's the entire infrastructure, there's entire industry that is devoted to supporting blind people, and it's really kind of inadequate. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good that it exists, and it makes me happy that it exists. But my impression, and my eyes, metaphorically, my eyes have been opened to it, by knowing you better. Is that it's in its infancy?
It is.
It really doesn't. It doesn't really scratch the surface of what it could do with respect to that.
It's hugely in its infancy. It's it's getting better, but there's a lot of, there's still a lot of, well, why? You can't see it.
Well, it's also fragmented. Like you have, companies that have individual programs for blind people. Okay, there's certain companies that, for whatever reason, have some kind of a hiring program for blind people, and or service organizations like Lions Club, for example, that does stuff for blind people. But it tends to be very fragmented. Kind of is analogous to when electric power was first coming into vogue. I mean, it's a funny thing to talk about now, because back in the day, when electric power was coming up, people would actually talk, do you think this electric power is going to take off? I don't know. Kerosene's been awful good to us, and they thought that gas was the way to light cities and so forth.
Yeah.
It didn't take too many explosions and terrible fires to make them rethink that. But at the time, Thomas Edison, his version of electricity was very localized. He used something called DC current, direct
Yeah.
current. Direct current has a limitation of needing a relay station basically every 12 miles or so. Okay, so you can't pump it long distances with large amounts of voltage. That was the big advantage that alternating current has, is you could put these big wires up and send it for hundreds and hundreds of miles, and the electricity would arrive. Not so with direct current. Direct current, it would peter out after about 12 or 13 miles.
Yeah.
It just vanishes, it just stops. And no, we're not going to go into the physics of why that works. It's really complicated. So, but there was a battle between Edison, who wanted to become he was the itinerant inventor who wanted to become the corporate poobah, the executive, the guy with zillions of dollars. He wanted to be Bill Gates. And George Westinghouse, who had made his money inventing a type of air brake for locomotives. And he saw this, and he hired away a guy who Edison fired by the name of Nikola Tesla. And Tesla was really much more brilliant than Edison was.
Oh, yeah.
And so Tesla went to work for Westinghouse, and they put together alternating current. Of course, alternating current asserted its advantage. And what happened was you saw the provinciality of electricity, where Edison was going around and selling a generator to a company's building and say, we'll run wire through it, and you'll have direct current throughout the building. You'll have electricity for this building, and you just pour gasoline into this generator, diesel fuel into this generator, and it runs. Okay.
Yeah.
He thought that was the future of electricity. He did not see wires going across all the United States. He had no idea it was going to turn out that way. He did not think that would work. And so Westinghouse said, no, you can have huge power plants in one place and pipe the stuff everywhere. And we don't need plant and equipment all over the United States, where everybody has a generator at home that's broken down half the time, and half the time you don't have power.
Yeah.
So that was the end of local electricity production. Okay. That really didn't come back until the solar panels came back. That was the first time that local power production resumed, was, and people adding the electricity back into the grid, but that's another story. Anyway,
do you want to hear about some?
My point, I'm bringing this all back to blindness. Okay, so bringing this back to blindness. What I think is, there are all these fragmented plans out there to help blind people, and I think that something like alternating current will happen to programs that help blind people, where there will be almost like a military service to help blind and other disabilities, disabled people. Because we're coming into a time of such plenty of having so much money and so much wealth, especially in Canada and the United States, that there will be amazing resources available and applied to that in probably a structured way, and probably a federal way. I really do believe that. I think you'll see that in the next 20 years.
I hope so.
I really do. And it'll take a lot of the features of these local plans and stuff, and incorporate them into a nationally based program. But anyway,
So
you had other things you wanted to talk about.
Do you want to hear about some Jerusalem waitresses who were flashing Orthodox Jews?
Oh, hell yeah. What red-blooded American man wouldn't want to hear about Jerusalem waitress flashing some old Orthodox guy who probably hasn't thought about that stuff in 30 years?
So here we go. It says, Jerusalem waitresses flashed their bras at Orthodox Jews.
Their bras?
Protesting the desecration of the Sabbath.
Really?
Yes. So it's oh, this is even better. You ready? You ready for this? Okay, okay. Jerusalem, a busted, a vegan LGBT friendly cafe. In Jerusalem.
Yeah.
In Jerusalem, I'm trying to picture this. A vegan and LGBT friendly cafe whose blue tables spill across the central Jerusalem sidewalk is a secular oasis for residents seeking Saturday refreshment in a city that largely comes to a standstill for the Jewish Sabbath.
For sure.
But each week, a procession of ultra-Orthodox men, some in their finest handsome gold robes, invariably marches past in a show of displeasure in the cafe's desecration of the day of rest. And then they chant, voiceover has completely desecrated the pronunciation. I think it's Shabbat that they chant.
Right.
The Yiddish word for the Sabbath. On a recent Saturday, the wait staff struck back.
Uh-oh.
Oh, God. Lifting their shirts to reveal their bras in an attempt to push back so they lifted their shirts to reveal their bras in an attempt to push back the religiously conservative demonstrators. What? Because the bras would scare them away?
Man.
I guess is there.
I guess that's the
idea?
That's the okay, these bras will really intimidate these guys. Okay. I guess it could happen.
So it goes on to say the confrontation reflected the central tension in modern Israel over the very nature of the state, founded by secular Zionists, but with an ultra-religious population that is growing in size and influence.
Yeah. Here's what's going on. I mean, you know that I'm very into Israel and Jerusalem and so forth. And you have a very big concentration of very devout Jews, obviously, in Israel and in Jerusalem. And you also have what's that? What are you laughing at?
Pincalo just said, do you know what else uses alternating current and can control blind people? Electric fences.
Yes, that's true. With the cattle prods also. You know, I was thinking about all the sick jokes you could make with that, but I chose not to go there. But whatever. Anyway, yes, actually true. And it will control you. Have you ever, by the way, just a quick spurg here. Have you ever touched an electric fence?
No. Pincalo has, but not me.
Well, then he knows. It's really unpleasant. You will remove your hand as quickly as you can remove your hand. It is just about as unpleasant as a feeling as you can get. It'll hurt you. It really will hurt you, and it feels like it's damaging you. That's the thing of it. It will even get you through your clothes. That's the other thing is leaning at the thing that happened to me a couple of times is I leaned against it with my jeans on, and that's that can be very unpleasant. Anyway, the thing in Israel is you have kind of an immovable object and an irresistible force.
Yeah.
You have a very a growing group of secularized young people, and they don't keep the Sabbath, or they don't keep it, they don't keep it the way that the Orthodox or the conservatives do. There are three branches of Jewry.
Yeah.
There's Reformed, which are very, very loose, kind of like Presbyterians, just, yeah, we're Christians, whatever. And then there's conservatives. They take it very seriously, but and they may keep kosher. A lot of conservatives keep kosher, some don't. Though that's kind of an iffy thing. And then you have the Orthodox, and they are all the way down. They have the side locks, and they keep kosher and wear the funny hats. The Ben Shapiro, for example, is Orthodox. Now, in Jerusalem, you have a clash of those secularized young Jews who work at the cafe and the Orthodox folk who, for them, it's a sin to ride in an automobile on the Sabbath. Okay. Because, you're not supposed to do anything, you're not supposed to do any work. And it's very carefully spelled out in both the Old Testament and in a series of, Talmudic decisions and rabbinical reasonings over the centuries as to what constitutes work. And so they're deeply offended by these people working in this cafe. And so they think, well, God is on our side, and they protest vehemently and very obnoxiously against these secular young people. And the secular young people are like, fuck you, old man. And so they hiked up their shirts to show them what they think of, all this. And, we don't really have a the cultural background to appreciate how desperately seriously these people are taking this stuff. But believe me, this is a matter of life and death stuff.
Wouldn't
To those
marching
people
in protest on the Sabbath be against the Sabbath anyways?
You can walk. You're allowed to walk on the Sabbath. You're allowed to walk a certain amount. I can't remember how much. Don't get me,
Yes, but I mean,
rabbinical things. You are allowed to walk around, and so
I don't mean like
you're not allowed
around,
to carry a sign or something.
I mean like their intent. Wouldn't their intent in anger and in
it's weirder than that, Blind. It's weirder than that. Yeah, I would have to get seriously a rabbi or a Jewish friend of mine, somebody who's really into this, and get a correct interpretation. I don't want to misrepresent. I really don't want to misrepresent what it is. You can probably find some stuff online as to what it is. As far as what's in the heart and so forth, what I've seen is it's much more about externalities, about what you can discern. The types of things, like you cannot wind your watch. It's against Sabbath to wind your watch on the Sabbath. So one of the things they always do is the day before the Sabbath, they make sure their watches are wound, that their clocks are wound, because you may not pull the counterweight on your clock, on the Sabbath, because that's doing work. And so, and of course, these things don't make real difference in and of themselves, but they're a mark of respect. It's the way that they show respect for God. It's and that's really all that it is. There's no mystical thing behind it. Some people, ascribe mystical things to it, but that's not really what's going on. What it is about respecting the laws that Moses lived under, and respecting the Word of God, and that's what they feel they're doing. So there you go.
Yeah, because it says, where is it here? Because there's still more. Where is it? God damn it!
I did not look.
Oh, there it is. That tension came to the forefront late last month, thwarting longtime Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's efforts to form a new government and sending a Stunt nation to the polls for the second time this year. What's a stunt nation?
A stunt nation?
That's what the article said.
That has to be all right. You know what?
That's why I.
Are you National Post? Is that where you're looking at this? Okay. Jerusalem, a vegan and LGBT friendly cafe whose blue tables spill across. Okay, that's the same thing.
That's the exact same article.
Okay,
Yeah.
that tension came to a forefront, thwarting longtime Prime Minister Netanyahu's to form a new government and sending a stunned nation to the poll. A stunned nation, stunned.
Okay, that's it. I'm changing the voiceover.
Stunned nation to the polls for a stunt nation. I love that. Stunned nation. The stunt nation. If you're from Brooklyn, the stunt nation. They were stunned.
I'm fucking done with this. Seriously.
For the second time this year. Okay.
I am so done with this voiceover.
Yeah. All right. Netanyahu needed two competing factions, secular and religious, to form a governing majority in parliament, and they were deadlocked over legislation that proposed drafting the ultra-Orthodox into the military, as other Israeli Jews are. The ultra-religious parties opposed conscription as an attempt to assimilate their cloistered communities by thrusting their young men into contact with secular life and values. Yeah, he's about one generation ahead of that happening normally. He's just trying to force it. That's the bad thing about Netanyahu. He's a little bit of an egotist, a little bit. Let's see. Anyway, ultra-Orthodox is kind of a catch-all for a religious community that includes a wide range of sects, and they generally segregate themselves from the wider Israeli society. They lead lives in which, religious observance is first, last, and always. It's paramount.
Yeah.
Okay, outside influences like films, the internet. The internet's a bad thing. Mixing with secular Israelis is discouraged. And for some of them, it's actually forbidden. They've never even spoken. I was looking into one of these sects where the young people have never even spoken to anyone outside their sect. But in Israel's fragmented parliamentary democracy, the political parties representing the ultra-Orthodox have become kingmakers in recent years, elevating their agenda and carving a fault line in Israeli society that is expected to grow. I can't believe that. And for Israelis like Cleo Lifshitz, the 28-year-old lesbian who opened Bastet 2.5, which is the cafe, 2.5 years ago with a super feminist waitstaff rather than decamp to liberal Tel Aviv, as most of her friends had, the shrinking space for secularism is a concern. They have more and more power, she says, of the ultra-Orthodox. As long as they keep having the power to do informing coalitions and governments, they're basically going to get what they want. And so you can kind of feel the young people in the larger society straining against them. And the other thing is the ultra-Orthodox sects are outbreeding the general population by like 2 to 1. Seriously.
Wow.
Yeah. Be fruitful and multiply. They took it serious. And they have a lot of money. That's the other thing, is they have a ton of money.
Wow.
So there you go. It was during an unusually large demonstration last month, in fact, called by ultra-Orthodox Jews to protest what they termed Israel's desecration of the Sabbath as the country hosted the Eurovision Song Contest, that the waitstaff decided to make their own stand. They said that the purpose was to protect their tables and make an ideological point. Since then, the ultra-Orthodox have paused their weekly walk past. It is a victory, says Miss Mira Abraham, one of the staff who decided to disrobe, though she said the sense of triumph was tinged with a heavy-handed police response to the demonstrators that made the staff uncomfortable. And, let's see, the ultra-Orthodox known as the Haredim make up only 12% of the population, but they're the fastest growing segment of the Israelis, with women giving birth to an average of 6.9 children
Wow.
every year.
Jesus.
No, just 6.9 children.
That's a lot of kids, though.
Yeah, it's 7 kids. 7 kids
Like
per lady.
7 kids per.
That's why I said they're outproducing the secular Israelis, who are not doing a half bad job themselves.
No.
Israel is growing big time. Plus 20% of Israel. People don't realize this. And you'll never hear this from the Palestinian liars. 20% of Israel is Arabs.
Mm-hmm.
Muslim worshiping Arabs who worship in mosques in Israel.
Yep. Real quick, thank you.
Freedom of speech and freedom of religion. Sorry.
Really quick, thank you, Martin, for the $10 donation that says, "Stay strong, BP." Sorry for the capital letters. It's okay. My voiceover doesn't differentiate between capital letters and not, unless I'm spelling them out.
It also doesn't differentiate between stunt and
stunned. Yeah, I'm really annoyed. I tried looking for the Siri female voice to use because that's what I have on my phone.
Yeah.
And they don't offer that on the Mac.
That, of course not. That would be too intelligent.
So I'm really trying to find one because this one's okay, but it mispronounces too many things.
Yeah, that's a shame. There really is a shame.
So there's got to be one that's a little better.
This is interesting because it's not just the ultra-Orthodox who want Israel to be ruled by religious law. And it's interesting because Netanyahu is actually pushing against these people. There's a guy, what is his name? Shmotrik? He's a religious guy. He's a religious Jew. He's like a conservative Jew. But he's not ultra-Orthodox. He might be Orthodox. I don't know if he's Orthodox or conservative, but he's one. And he wants the Israeli justice system to adhere to Jewish law, which would not be terrible. I mean, it actually is a very merciful and very good, system of laws. But Netanyahu says, no, Israel will not be a halacha state, using the term for Jewish law based on the Talmud. A religious state is what Avram Menkes, an ultra-Orthodox rabbi, would like to see, and he sees conscription as a threat to the existence of his unique community. National Service, he says, is a melting pot designed to take Israeli Jewish immigrants from a diverse mix of cultures across the world and give them uniform identity. Yeah, the only thing about that is, dude, who do you think keeps you safe?
Yeah.
You want to just take these guys and just say, don't you see the hypocrisy in sitting there and being all safe and yet refusing to serve in the military because you think you're better than they are because of your interpretation of the Talmud? Fuck right off. That's what I can go on and on. I can talk about this for hours and hours and hours, but I think our audience might prefer to talk about something much more interesting.
You want to hear about Justin Trudeau's really, really stupid blunder?
Yes. Do we give it a number? Are we in the 10,000?
Oh, this one's good.
What? Tell me.
Okay, so I'm about to read an opinion piece, but before I do, I'm gonna tell you because I know that you were sick and or not feeling well or whatever on Sunday, so you missed the Blindness special we covered. Justin Trudeau said that because we've had a inquiry into missing Indigenous women and girls, missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. So he's decided to say that the Canadian government committed genocide against the Indigenous people.
What?
Because of the...
What?
Yeah. So he admitted...
Canada committed genocide?
He said that Canada has committed genocide because... Now, granted, a lot of a lot of the problems is that there's, inter-reservational politics. There's, reservation politics between the reservations and the regular police. And there is, I'm not going to lie, there is a tendency in the police forces to say,
Come down hard on them.
not come down too hard, like not do as much of a looking.
Yeah, okay.
Not for
getting
a missing Native girl.
Okay.
Or, if she comes up murdered, like they do, they're like, okay, she's murdered, we'll kind of look for the.
Well, they've come to expect that behavior, kind of.
Yeah,
that's the feeling that I get.
Yeah, it's not a good system, right? It's on all sides, right? Yeah. It's not. However, it's not fucking genocide.
Holy shit!
Man. And Justin Trudeau actually said it's genocide, and so he's received a letter from whatever international body that investigates that, and said, okay, now Canada's under investigation.
Really?
Yep. So here's the opinion piece by Brian Lilly. He's actually a really good columnist in the I think he's in the Toronto Sun. I can't remember what paper this is, but he calls him Captain Stumble. This is what he's called Trudeau, is Captain Stumble, and I love it. So he says, Captain Stumble struck again on Monday while making the most
sorry, just
virtuous. Yeah, I know. It's great. While making the most virtuous edit of announcements that a Trudeau-led government would ban single-use plastics on by 2021. Our PM stumbled when asked a very simple question. Okay, so this has to do with plastics and banning single-use plastics. But he also, this is just after he made this genocide comment. So he's stumbled over genocide, and now he wants to ban single-use plastics by 2021.
Because reasons.
Right. What do you and your family do to cut back on plastics? Trudeau was asked.
Holy shit, dude. Really?
Here we go. This is going to be good.
The plastic premier.
Now, if you are the leader of a country and you have just announced you're willing to use legislative power to ensure individual Canadians, families, and businesses are not allowed to use these kinds of plastics, maybe you would have a thought on how to cut back yourself. You'd think, right? Not Justin Trudeau. He says, the PM said, sir, or the PM's answer, complete with incoherent thoughts and wild but incomprehensible hand gestures, because that's what he always does. You can actually hear it as a blind person. You can hear him when he starts gesturing because he brushes his mic, right? Because he's wearing one of those
lapel mics.
So when he's going and he's stuck,
holy shit,
he starts moving his arms and whatever, and he brushes his mic. You, as a blind, if you pay attention, you don't have to see to know. He's freaking waving his hands around again.
Oh my God.
Trudeau showed us all he hasn't put a whole lot of thought into it. Then again, Trudeau doesn't buy his own groceries, pack his kids' lunches, go on or prepare his own family road trips, or any of the things that dads do.
Yep.
I get that he can be a little busy being prime minister, but trust me, Trudeau was cut off from reality of everyday Canadians before he became PM.
Yeah. Holy
There's
shit.
a video, I think. Let me see.
I was
Is
just
there a video?
looking at the CNN take
No,
on
there's
this.
not.
It says, according to the Canadian government, every year 1 million birds, they counted them, and more than 100,000 sea mammals worldwide are injured or die or are made depressed when they mistake plastic for food.
I
Well,
found the video.
okay.
I'm gonna play the audio. Let's see if it works here.
All right.
Back on their group plastics.
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of when we have water bottles out of a plastic. Away from plastic towards paper, like drink box water bottles sort of things.
You must be so proud.
What the fuck?
You have to be so proud of that. Good God.
Oh my god, that's the first time I heard that video.
He can't even get a sentence out.
No, he can't.
What? He sounds like he's coked up or something. He got him, you know.
Pincalo said his arms to describe a Brita water filter, it looks like he's jacking off a black guy. So he was trying to describe a filter, but I guess he was like
doing a Milo imitation.
waving his like oh Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's not good at all. That's not good. That's not what you want from your premiere. Interesting.
Does that mean
what
Canada's
this is all about?
using Ziploc bags?
What this is all about?
What?
See, in 2018, China said it was not going to take Western recycle plastic, our plastic waste.
Hmm.
We used to just ship it over there, basically by the container load, and they would recycle it. And China, for whatever reason, has decided that they will not do that anymore. It's just not a profitable business or whatever for them. And so they said, that's it. We're not going to do anymore. And so there's kind of been a ripple that has happened across the global supply chain as Western nations start to look for options. And that's why, so guys like Trudeau say, well, we have to ban single-use plastic because that's the easy, that's the only solution he can understand. It's the only solution he can jump to.
Yeah.
And so he gloms onto that and says, that's what we're going to do. And nothing else is explored. No other recycling options. The idea of taking that stuff and recycling it over here. So he creates a boogeyman, and he says, well, look at all the marine mammals that we're killing with the stuff. You're still going to kill it with the stuff. You're just going to kill it with recyclable plastic instead of one single-use plastic, you dumbass. But, whatever. Human beings rubbing up against nature is going to result in nature getting bruised. I'm sorry. It's just the way that it is.
Yep.
And guys like Trudeau, his mind is nowhere near subtle enough to grasp that distinction and deal with it in a mature way. He's like a child.
He really is.
He's an imbecile. He's like an imbecile child. He's about as smart as a box of hammers. It truly is.
That video just boggles my mind. Like, we use plastic. Paper water bottle boxes. What?
That is the head of our government. We're so proud. We're so proud. You know, I don't know what to tell you, Blinds. It just hurt my heart. It just hurt my heart. So anyway, so what is chat saying about all this? Oh, Irate Prostate is here. Hey, buddy.
Yeah,
Good to
hi,
see you.
Irate.
Good to see you, bro. My brother. Let's see. Green Thunder says, does that mean that Canada is going to start reusing Ziploc bags? Yes, Green Thunder. And the nickel bags and dime bags of pot will be be sold in reusable Ziplocs.
Yep.
And Irate says Oregon makes it illegal to call police on black people.
What?
That's rather random. Do you want to hit us up with a link on that there, bro? Well, here, talk quickly while I look that up.
All right. So, quick preview for Saturday. I finished watching Star Trek this morning, and you're not supposed to cry that much during Star Trek, God damn it. What the fuck?
Wait,
that's all I'm gonna say.
What was it you were watching?
I finished DS9 this morning.
Oh, you did? You cried, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't cry, but my allergies got acted up. Okay, Oregon Senate passes bill punishing people who call police on black people.
But what
Oh
if
my
they're doing
gosh.
something bad?
Almost a year after State Representative Janelle Bynum's story of being questioned by police after a 911 call as she campaigned in a district sparked a hashtag. All right, let's see. Oregon State Senates have passed a bill that would allow victims of discriminatory 911 calls to sue callers when the basis for discrimination is being black, to have a 911 call on you if you are black. If the victim can prove that the 911 call was racially motivated and that the caller intended to discriminate or harm the reputation of the victim, regardless of what the victim was doing, then it is they can be sued and be awarded up to $250.
What the fuck?
So there you go. Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave.
What is wrong with Oregon?
I know. It's like, you know, I think what this is that for so long, and in parts of Oregon, this is true, they had a lot of police force who would stop black people and say, "What are you doing in this part of town, boy?"
Yeah.
And that really did happen. And that was legit. And they, you know, that's wrong. That's evil. That's wrong. It's as bad. That's as bad as anything that happens. And so they're kind of reacting to that. They're hunting for a way to find a way to protect black people from the institutionalized, and there is some institutionalized racism there, especially in certain police force, and there is in Texas too. There's actually quite a bit of it in Texas, particularly when you get out in the hinterlands.
Yeah.
I'm not, and you know, it's based on people's experience. That I'm not saying that it's fair or that it's good, but it is based.
It happens.
Yeah, it's experientially based. And that's the conversation that you can't have because everybody is so trigger happy. You know, as soon as you bring up race, if you say anything, it's, you know, it's violence. And you'll people want to make it like England to where if you say anything against the prevailing social justice warriors, you'll be put in jail, literally put in jail.
Yeah.
What Dankula was. So I'm just I understand the impulse of wanting to protect people from simply being black and having the police called on. There's a black guy walking through my neighborhood. Okay, the black guy should not have the police called on him for simply being a black guy. That's wrong. That's obviously wrong. On the other hand, if a guy is breaking into your house and you know, you call the police and the police catch him breaking into your house, is it right that he can sue you because he was black? That's
No.
wrong too.
Yeah.
And that apparently is the law that they passed. So
I don't like that law.
I think they're trying. I think they're trying for something. They'll eventually get closer to it. Oregon seems a little bit saner than California. I'm not sure if they're losing their mind. Certainly saner than the western part of Washington. Washington is like two states. I don't know if you realize this. There's Seattle and there's the rest of Washington. So Seattle is like San Francisco. It's
Right.
really not different from San Francisco. It's like a wet San Francisco. And then the rest of the state is about like Oklahoma
Okay.
in terms of the way they view things. You get down in central Washington, it's plumb redneck country,
Right.
and they really resent. And Spokane is like the redneck capital of the United States. I don't know if you realize this, but Spokane and Coeur d'Alene are where a lot of the neo-Nazi organizations are headquartered, particularly Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And that's where Ruby Ridge was just north of Coeur d'Alene.
Right.
And so that's a hotbed of that white supremacist bullshit up there. So they have a lot of extremes in Washington, but generally the central part of Washington and the southeast of Washington tends to be rather conservative and tends to be lily white too. It's just Seattle that is extremely liberal, but they are so population dense. It is perceived as such a great liberal haven. People love to live there. Plus it's a tech mecca that it basically elects the representatives, for the state. It does not elect all the congressmen, but it elects the senators and it elects the governors. And so you don't get many Republicans out of the state. You usually get a couple of Republican congressmen out of Eastern Washington, and that's it. Anyway, how I do go on.
Pincalis is the sovereign citizens up there too. My mother just moved to northern Idaho, and I was just explaining to her that some of the people up there.
You do get people who they call themselves sovereign citizens. He's exactly right. The nutters up there, they just go on and on about
he says
different.
he at dictation said it's at the end. It said that he's explaining to her that she looks white because she's Portuguese.
Who is this?
Pincalo's mom.
Oh, okay. All right. But it should have said white. Okay, I got it. All right. Sovereign citizens up there too. My mother just moved to northern Idaho. I just explained to her. Right. So, and yeah, irate prostate throwing in. Taxes are not constitutional. Taxation is theft. I agree. And if I was going to if I was going to have just the perfect ending epitaph for this stream, I would say that it is taxation is theft, because it is. Trust me, it is.
And if you guys are still interested, since there's some people who didn't see it last time, I can turn on my camera and show you guys what it looks like to type in Braille on an iPhone.
All right.
That's always cool. And I actually remembered to turn my light on today.
Right. makes a lot of difference.
It does.
I mean, not to you, but to us.
Yes, exactly. So let's see here. I will type in chat and I'll show you guys here.
All right.
So when you type in Braille, you flip your phone this way, and my fingers are going to go like this. So I'm going to say, I am typing, and I'm going to type letter for letter in chat. That's what that looks like. That's what it looks like to type in Braille on a touchscreen phone. And iPhone is the only, I don't think you can do that on Android phones. I know blind people who have Android phones, but I'm pretty sure they don't have that.
That was fucking amazing. That really was. That absolutely blew my mind. That absolutely blew my mind, because that is, it looks like it's upside down and backwards, but it's what you're used to.
Yeah, that's Braille.
It just, you know, and having spent probably 40 hours or so messing with Braille now, I understand. I understand what you're doing. I understand filling the cells, and understand how at least a little bit of grade 1 Braille works.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's just the tip of the iceberg, and I'm amazed by it. So anyway, hats off, my dear.
Irate says she's prettier than Skep and I. Oh, thanks, Irate.
Hell yeah. It's a low bar, but she is. Absolutely, she is. And look at that. They've wasted another 2 hours with us.
They have. They have. Thank you very much for dealing with my ridiculousness earlier in the stream, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed what I had for you today, and come back tomorrow for Wednesdays with Skep. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. I've got to run and collect Alexander for an appointment that we have in half an hour. So I got to go. I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll see everybody tomorrow at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. Have an amazing, amazing day, guys. And I also want to thank Skep and Pinkalo for coming and helping me out today.
And thanks, Gunny, for all the work you do.
Yeah, Gunfox, thank you for so much news provision.
And thank you, chat, for showing up. We love you guys.
You guys are amazing.
Absolutely.
We'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a great day, guys.
Bye, guys.